Hi everyone, Katie again with my second video. So this video is going to be about what really started my journey of life and how it got so crazy rocky at such a young age. So we're going to talk about loss. And I've had a lot of loss in my own personal life. When I was young, a little girl, my grandparents, they watch children, they babysit. I'm surrounded by so many different kinds of kids and so many different kinds of personalities. And I always, even as a child, was drawn to the ones that didn't have many friends or that stuck out somewhere along the line and felt like I could fix them or they needed something. I was always drawn to those people. However, as a young child, at a very young age, I was forced to accept that unfortunately people don't live forever. And with this being said, the first incident that took place in my life was my cousin Shaylin. And she would have been a year younger than me. And we had this love of dance. We danced together in Bonnie Kilburn, and we had this connection. We loved playing outside together. It was really quite a relationship. And unfortunately, at a very young age, she lost her life to a tragic car accident in my grandparents' driveway and left many of us empty and tragically ruined for a long, long time. And 26 years later, 20 years later, still don't understand it. Still don't understand why she was taken at a young age. What purpose would that be for her parents, for herself, for her siblings? Like, why was she taken? Why? And that was a daunting question. And through that experience, my mom, my father, my parents took me to play therapy, and they did everything they could for me to try and help me reconcile with those feelings about losing someone and losing somebody who was close to me and a cousin that was my age that I had so much in common with. But it didn't matter because, in my opinion, it only made it worse. And then, unfortunately, I was forced to face another loss in my life, which was my grandmother, my father's mother, and she had multiple myeloma. She was sick with cancer, and she died as well. And then, at a very young age, my father got diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And that's where the journey really started, feeling tiresome, even at a young age, even at the age of 7, 8, 9, 10. I felt life was exhausting and I didn't want to do it anymore. And everybody around me just keeps dying. What's the point? If I don't have anyone who's ever going to be here for my whole life that I can really attach to, then what's the point? And basically, that was my mindset at even a very young age. I didn't understand how I was ever going to connect with anybody again. And because of that, created a lot of stress and anxiety for myself, even as a child. But my dad was sick. He was in and out of hospital in Halifax, Fredericton, extramural care, IVs hooked up here, there, and everywhere, chemotherapy. His mood changed, his looks changed, everything changed. And it was that way for about almost 6 years. And it was hard because he had a moment of remission where we thought things were going to be okay. Things were going to be okay, and he was going to be all right again, and he was going to be healthy, and we were going to be a family again. And that, unfortunately, was not what happened, and he was taken from us on June 11th, 2003. He died of Hodgkin's lymphoma, and yet again was left with another loss in my life once he had finally passed. Once my dad had passed, I was almost 11 years old. I was going into middle school, and it was a pretty interesting year for me. A lot had happened. My dad wasn't there anymore, wasn't watching him suffer in pain, wasn't so certain that he was going to live through this day, but maybe not tomorrow. And because he was gone, he was gone, and I was left to pick up the broken pieces. My mother turned to the gym. She turned to the gym for her comfort and her consoling, and she found it there for a long time, and she worked out her frustrations and her loneliness at the gym. An all-women's gym. She was bound, determined, even as a single mother, that she was going to do what was right for her kids. My brother fell in love with the love of music, and he had drums, and that was everything to him, and that was his escape from all of it. I had nothing. I fell out of love with dance. I fell out of love with singing. I fell out of love with myself, even at a young age. I had nothing left. And basically, I was left to try and find something. Well, boy, oh